What is up, people? Miles here with Keep the Change, and today we're talking about my income and investing journey, how I went from $0 to $10,000 by the time I turned age 20. I figured this would be a good video just to sort of introduce myself, also get you guys to know a little bit more about me, how I even got into stocks in the first place, and investing and saving money, all that good stuff. So we're going to go through my financial highs, my financial lows, mistakes I've made, things I've learned. Hopefully you enjoy. And if you do, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe as well. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers, and if you don't do that, then a spooky ghost is gonna come visit you. Ooga booga. Now, this video isn't to be braggadocious or to show off how much money I have. That would just be ridiculous. On a serious note, this is just a video to, get more personal and connected to you guys as subscribers, because this is who I do it for, and also to help motivate you along your financial journey as well. So let's get right into it. So in order to understand how I got $10,000, we've got to take it way back to the beginning. So as a kid, I was never really into sports or anything. My parents would put me in like basketball, soccer, baseball, whatever, you name it. And I was particularly just not interested in sports. I remember this one time when I was in probably fourth grade when I went to a basketball game at the YMCA and I was playing on a team, and everyone's shooting the ball, going crazy, and I was meant to play, but instead I just walked around with my hands behind my back and narrated the entire game. That was how I had fun playing sports. If you're not really into sports, you gotta try other things. So one of the first things that my parents did, and one of the first things that I actually opened up to, was acting. So I became an actor, a young Leonardo DiCaprio. So I did plays basically at a local theater. I was in Greece. I was Danny Zuko. Don't mean to brag or anything, but I performed. Basically, there was some lady in the audience. She was a talent scout or whatever, a talent agency person, and she liked the way I acted, apparently. Apparently it was good enough. So basically she came up to me. I started working for her for this talent agency. That was around age 12, I would say. So from this, I would get commercials, short films, a lot of just small stuff around Seattle. So I worked from 12 to 18 as an actor, just doing kind of on the side, but from 12 to 15, that's when I did the majority of my roles. I got some checks. In fact, the biggest day I think I made around $900 in a day, and I would skip school to do this for like a day or two to go film. So that was pretty exciting as a kid. As my classmates were playing sports, building their muscles, talking to girls, I was acting. So cool, right? No, but I made a little money. Of course, I was way too little of a kid to really understand what to do with the money. So my dad would just take the checks, put it into an account for me. I had no idea where it went. I just didn't even bat an eye. So my dad was holding all this money for me. And by age 15, I had made around $2,500 within acting. Now, age 15, I'm in high school now. I'm a sophomore or something, and I am not liking school at all. I'm failing some classes, showing up late, falling asleep in class. I had to go to summer school. Everything was bad this year. However, there was one silver lining from all of this negativity. I was placed into a class. It was basically a bunch of kids in need of help in order to pass high school, and I was put in that class. One of my other friends got put in this class as well, and we were meant to do homework or study or whatever, but basically I would look at my friend and his computer, he would have it open, and he would just be looking at stocks. And I was like, wow, that is really interesting. You're just making money while we're sitting here doing nothing? And he was like, yup, pretty much. So I was probably 15 or 16. I go up to my dad. I say, Dad, I want to open a stock market account. Now, as a minor, I couldn't open it in my own name, so we did like a joint account type thing with Fidelity, and I used my acting money. I used $2,500, put it into stocks, and boom, I had a stock market account. That's how I got into investing. So I didn't really know what stocks to buy. However, there was this movie called The Big Short. I'm sure some of you have heard of it, some of you haven't. But there's this guy in it, and at the end of the movie, he invested in water, basically. And I thought, wow, water, that's a genius investment. We always need water, am I right? So I invested in some water stock. I invested in Disney, Facebook, Twitter, and a couple other ones that I can't really remember. And that just got me so excited and so passionate about investing. I remember just checking my account every single day and seeing, was I up, was I down? Oh my gosh, like what's happening, So cool. I had $2,500 in the stock market, and now I was into stocks, but of course I wasn't making any money. I was a 16-year-old kid in high school with no job and really nothing going for me. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna work. I'm gonna get a job like a good American. And I applied to a Cold Stone Creamery. Now, this was my very first job ever, was at an ice cream shop. I made $9 an hour plus tips. So first getting money, I did not know how to handle it at all. I would spend it on stupid stuff. See, when I had all my money in stocks, it was kind of untouchable. It didn't seem real to me. It didn't seem tangible. I couldn't go and spend it. So when I was working over the summer as a 16-year-old at this ice cream shop, I remember my very first check was around $400 to $500, and the very first thing I bought was an iPhone SE. That was probably a decent purchase. I met a lot of cool people through Snapchat. I had a good time with my iPhone. Now I'm an Apple user all day, baby. What was not a good purchase was what I bought next. I got my check one day. I looked at it. I said, what can I buy with $400? I hit up the Gucci store that day and I bought a red leather Gucci belt. Here's a couple photos of me stunning and flexing with the belt. Looking back on it, would I have done that? No. At 16, basically my first job, I just blew all my money on a bunch of stupid stuff that doesn't even matter. I don't even care about now. So eventually I got fired from this ice cream shop. I'm gonna need a new job, right? I decided to work at a movie theater. Now this movie theater, I think it paid around $11 at the time, which was okay, not bad. But it was the same story as the ice cream shop. I would get my checks and I would just blow it all on whatever frivolous item I felt like I needed at that moment. Usually it consisted of just eating out at really expensive restaurants with my friends or just buying things that I just generally didn't need. And all of this basically left me with no money to save or invest. But at the time I didn't care. I was 17. I figured I already have $2,000 in. That's more than a lot of people. However, my dad in 2017 actually showed me Robinhood for the first time, believe it or not. And he was telling me about how it's free commission because on Fidelity, if you bought a stock, you would have to pay $5. But on this app, you could, buy a stock for free. So I downloaded Robinhood. We transferred the $2,500 over from there to the Robinhood account. And I honestly thought it was really cool. It got me back into investing. By now I was 18. I didn't have my movie theater job. I saved no money from that or the ice cream shop. Now I was working at McDonald's. So I started working 30-hour weeks at McDonald's. I would make like $700 or $800 a week. I would allocate at least 40% of my check to go to Robinhood, and then I would just spend the rest. So slowly over 2018, I built my Robinhood portfolio up to around $6,000, and then I turned that into $10,000 through the magic of options. I have a whole video on that if you want to go see that. And by the end of 2018, it all came crashing down. $10,000 went to $3,000. At this point, I was feeling very discouraged. All this money I had put in just lost, just vanished basically. I also wasn't working anymore. I didn't have a job. I worked at a yogurt shop for like 2 weeks, but I quit that. I hated it. I didn't have a job. I had $3,000. I really had no idea what to do. I was like, this investing thing, it didn't work out. So in late 2018, early 2019, I got a job at Hallmark. It's basically a place for cards. I would make around $400 to $500 every check. But at this point, I was getting back into investing. I said, I lost all my money. I don't want to go out like that, okay? I said, instead of gambling my money on options and losing all of it again, I'm just going to build a portfolio that I would be proud of, that if one day I died, I could give to my kids. I would take a majority of my money. Instead of saving 40%, I would save like 70 to 80% of my check and put it into Robinhood. So now it's 2019 and I go off to college. Probably had around 5 or 6 grand saved up in Robinhood, and I'm chilling in college. I'm not working. I'm not doing anything. I come back home for the summer of 2019 and I get a job at iPick, which is basically a movie theater type place. Here I was getting paid $14 an hour plus tips, and this was really the first time I started working full time. I was making around $1,000 a check, or a little more, maybe $1,100. So I put the majority of that into Robinhood. Now I'm around $8,000. Of course, college starts again. I go to college. My account's doing good. We're going from 8K to around 9K. I'm around 9K in February 2020. Pandemic happens. Stocks crash essentially. And in March, I go down to around 6 or 7 grand. I come back in March of 2020 to my hometown. So I find a job at Domino's. Now I'm a driver. I'm still working there right now. I get paid $14 an hour plus tips. I would get around $600, $700 in the beginning. Now I'm working a lot more, so I'm getting like $1,000 a check. I got it back to 10K by the time June hit. And now present 2020, present day, I'm at around $14,500 in my stock market account. So yeah, it's basically how I went from $0 to $10,000 in a matter of 8 years. I know that doesn't seem like crazy or anything, but considering that I am younger, I hope that this is an inspiration for younger people out there that, $10,000, it kind of seems like an unattainable, unreachable goal. However, if you really put your mind to it and you really work hard, you find jobs, you can actually do it if you earn income. Now, a couple things to know. I live a very privileged life. I do not pay rent. I do not pay for my phone. I don't pay for anything, quite literally. So I have no expenses. So your scenario is obviously going to be different. I never took money from my parents in order to put it into Robinhood or for myself. myself, okay? All that money is all mine, so you can't take that away from me. And yeah, I just figured this would be an interesting story just to kind of share with you my job experiences, my income experiences, and how I've taken investing, seriously over the years. Because when I really look at it, I had around 3 or 4,000 by the end of 2018, and now we're nearing the end of 2020, and I have around 15 grand in the account total. I know this wasn't the most educational video or anything, but I'm hoping it was informative on who I am as a person. So thank you so much for watching. And if you want to sign up for Robinhood and get a free stock, go ahead and click that link in the description down below. You'll get a free stock. I'll get a free stock. Everybody wins. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I love you.